um, where else can people do this work outside of an ayahuasca ceremony or an entheogenic context? Like, where else do you
Right.
see the work being done?
I see it. Well, it's one of these things where I see it everywhere, and then sometimes I don't see it at all. You know, if I watch TV, I don't see it hardly anywhere present. You know, if I go to the mall, which I don't do very often, I don't see it, or I go back with my family. But if I start going to crowded yoga schools, 20 million people in the country now are practicing yoga. I'm a Reiki person. There's now, I think in the 80s, there were maybe like 100,000 people that did Reiki, with Reiki energy healing. And I think a lot of my healing in ayahuasca has been through energy work, energy healing. Now there's like 6 million Reiki practitioners. A lot of people doing meditation, Buddhist meditation. Actually, this brings up a topic I'd like to address is I feel like there's a split between spiritual traditions and ceremonial ones, ayahuasca medicine ceremonies. And this is something I've been trying to heal and understand in myself because I have a deep Sufi practice, meditation practice, and I try to do yoga regularly. But a lot of times these traditions will tell me that entheogenic plants are not good for the spiritual journey. But meanwhile, they take me to a whole other level of meditation,
Sure.
whole other level of cleaning and energetic, purification. But also I ground it in the spiritual as well, because it's those daily practices I do that then ground me. So when we were just talking about in those ceremonies when you're just like, oh my God, why am I here? How did I get here?
What
I'm
have I
going to
done?
die. And you kind of start doing this, and then you realize, wait a second, okay, my yoga and meditation tell me to breathe, calm, surrender, and it gets better.
Yeah.
And I feel like bridging these worlds, the plant medicine world and the more like spiritual yoga, I don't know what you would call that.
Yeah.
Those disciplines need to understand each other and have a dialogue a little more to create a healing.
Yeah. Well, there's a certain I think asceticism that's built into a lot of Buddhist practices and yogic disciplines and stuff like that. Like the I think the goal is really actually exactly the same as a serious ayahuasca practice, which is consistency, dedication, discipline, and like a lot of honesty and authenticity, and just really bringing your full self into the container of a practice and showing up. And mostly they all have the same thing in common, which is about breathing and staying centered.
Yeah.
And allowing like in yoga, the modifications of the mind stuff, the way that your mind can vacillate into many different concepts and thought structures and everything like that. But are you able at any point in time to pull back into your center, a place that's unconditional, inexplainable? It's like trying to explain why the sun shines or why the heart beats or why the breath keeps coming in and out, and coming into that place, and learning to live more and more and more from that place, as opposed to being pushed around by all of the distractions and the dramas and everything like that. Like, all these practices have that in common, and you're right. But sometimes it's like, oh, you're ingesting a plant and then going through a ritual. That's not good.
You're cheating.
You're cheating. But the thing is that the yogic practices, for example, or holotropic breath work, or any of these things, are greatly altering body physiology by the way that they're working with things like adrenaline, by the way they're working with, in the endorphins and serotonin. And I mean, the whole experience is, I just don't want to go to the chemical, to the chemical differences and the sort of, I feel in a way that we wouldn't want to refine yoga into chemicals. Yogis wouldn't want that any more than people who are the practitioners of shamanic medicine in the Amazon would want their experience to be refined, or their practice to be refined to the chemical level either.
Yeah. Although, there's a fun thing about yoga, why it began, if you read the Vedas, is they were using soma, whatever that was, to have these mystical experiences. And then soma was lost. And so they had to create this system to get them back there. And actually, this is kind of how I feel about Western culture right now. I think we just lost. We lost our soma. We lost our connection to the divine for maybe about 10,000 years, really. And what's happening, I think, especially with ayahuasca and also these other traditions, is it's coming back to us. We're remembering it, and we really need it right now. Like, I think if you look at the indicators on the planet, whether it's environmental, economic, the whole thing, global warming, they're worse even than what we think. And right now, I think we need healing miracles for ourselves, for our planet, and consciousness. I mean, this is something that ayahuasca has shown me, is like, it's healed me of things Western medicine never could. And I think when we bring in the divine, we bring in this healing source that's available to all of us, it opens up miracles and potentials we never thought we would have had.